This is an updated video of my other Pebble Classics revival I did a while back. I wanted to redo it because somebody pointed out that the way I hooked up the battery before, it had two circuit boards in serial, and while it seemed to work fine, the OCD in me wanted to do it right. Also, the official Pebble app has been updated many times over since then, and I wanted to see if it would connect and update the firmware of the original new in-box Pebbles that are really old, because the first time I tried it, it did not update the version 1.x firmware watches, and I had to use an old Sideloaded version of the Pebble app to get it up to date. So in this video, I'm going to update the zebra strip to prevent the screen tearing that's common on these Pebble Classics, and then change out the battery to a new one, but using a revised technique that I used in the first video. So there's only one voltage regulator, and I'm going to do it without the full teardown that other videos show on YouTube. I like to avoid the full teardown because the brittle white light diffuser can break and the black sticker can tear, and it will never go back as straight as before. After that, we'll attempt to update the firmware. Here's another new in-box but dead battery Pebble Classic I got on eBay for about $20. Unfortunately, it's the version with no screws in the back, so it's very hard to repair. They didn't show any images of the back of the watch on the listing. I took a chance anyway, but I knew what I was getting into. Hooking it up to the charger gives the flashing screen, which is indicative of a dead battery. And looking up how to take this apart, the iFixit teardown guide for the screwless Pebbles shows that it gets destroyed in the process. Luckily, I have some extra Pebble Classic housings that I can use to put the internals in after I tear apart this screwless housing. So be careful if you're ordering new in-box but dead battery Pebbles on eBay. And always ask for the pictures of the back to make sure it has screws. Getting the case apart was harder than it seemed. They really glued this thing good. I tried to pull it off without any heat, but ended up setting it on top of my 3D printer's heat bed at 80 degrees Fahrenheit for a few minutes. It softened it enough that I can pry it open, but the screen is damaged. Not that I was going to save it anyway at this point. Now I have to rip apart the sides to extract the internals. It's kind of locked in there. But before you can take out the internal module, use a tweezer or a similar tool to separate the vibration motor from the backing like this. Now, if you have a Pebble that has screws, you'll need a T4 bit to remove the 4 screws on the back. Once you can get the back plate off, be careful pulling it fully apart as the vibration motor is still stuck on there. Here I used a sim removal tool to pry it away from the backing. Now that you have the back plate off, notice the rubber O-ring, which is for water resistance. Make sure it doesn't come loose or get dislodged. Notice the location of the vibration motor so it goes back the same way. And be careful not to break these 2 tabs on the sides. To get the internal out, you'll need to pry it using a tweezer or a small flathead screwdriver. Here's a broken internal module to show what's where. Pry from this corner or this edge as it's solid plastic. This corner also works, but you don't want to pry from this corner or this edge as you'll damage the circuits. It should come out easily once lifted free. Here's the original blue zebra strip that you need to replace. This is the original blue one compared to the replacement taller pink one that I have. The taller height will give it more squish to ensure proper contact. This is how it comes brand new, so you'll have to place it on top of the blue one and cut it to the right width. I'll leave a link in the description for where I ordered it from. It goes in this space right here. It should fit neatly in there. On the watch body, you can see where the contacts are, so that's how you orient it. Carefully put the internal module back into the watch housing. I like to go in with the battery charger connectors first, then snugly push in the other side. Be aware that there's a Lego style connector right here that is easily dislodged when you're placing it in. If it comes loose, just push it in, make sure it's secure. You may have to take it out of the body to do so. On some revisions, it might be underneath some black tape like this. Once everything is securely in, you might notice that the side with the new zebra strip is taller than the other, and that's normal. Once you screw on the back plate, it will press everything into place and hold it securely. But first, we're going to swap out this old battery. To remove the battery, flip it up like this, kind of like a book. Be very careful, as if you use too much pressure or move too fast, you're going to rip that ribbon cable off, and then you'll have to do a full disassembly. Once in this position, use a sharp razor blade and make an incision so that you can easily remove the tape. You don't have to remove all the tape, just enough so that you can bend the circuit board up. Now get some sharp clippers and simply cut off the contacts. Be careful not to cut into the battery. There's only 2 metal tabs there that you need to cut off. Now you can carefully remove the rest of the tape. Here's a closer look at the 2 contacts that you had to cut off with the clipper. I like to fold the extra material over so that it's more neat and flat. Again, be very careful so you don't rip the ribbon off. Now to prepare the new battery. Take apart some tape around the wires, and you'll see it comes with its own circuit board. But we're going to use the original circuit board, so we don't need this one. Remove enough tape to see where the contacts are, and you'll see which side is positive and which side is negative. Use your soldering iron, remove the wires, and we're going to reuse it later. Cut off the connector points. I like to mark which side is negative and which side is positive so it's easily identifiable. Now solder the wires back onto the points that you've just trimmed off. And then solder the wires to the original circuit board that's still on the watch. I like to do this because the wires are more flexible. If you can solder those connectors directly to the board, you're welcome to try, but it seems very rigid and it can easily damage that ribbon while you're trying to solder and maneuver around it. Remember, always use flux and prime the wires and connectors. Once it's securely soldered, I like to fold it over so it's nice and neat. It should fit perfectly fine. Some batteries I've noticed it comes with a little bit too much wrapping and you might have to trim the edges to make it fit nicer. Now screw the housing back on. You might have to put some pressure with your fingers on where the new zebra strip location is because it's raised up like I mentioned. If everything's working properly, this is the screen you might see because it's such an old version. If nothing comes up, connect it to a charger and press the back button to wake it up. In order to start the pairing and updating process, press the back button and cancel that update. You may have to go through this manual date and time setting. Now let's go into the menu and see what version this came with. As you can see, it comes with firmware 1.10.0 and the recovery is version 1.5.4. On this updated Pebble I have here, the firmware is version 3.13.3 and recovery version is 3.8. Let's try the firmware update now. I have the latest Pebble app installed on my Android phone here. Loading up, give it all the needed permissions. Pressing the add device button, nothing is showing up. Now I'm going to try to enable the Bluetooth Classic mode, which these original Pebbles usually need. I'm going to restart the searching process, but still nothing shows up. So it looks like the latest official Pebble app from the Google Play Store still can't find these original Pebbles with the old firmware. I'm going to bring out my Motorola phone that has the side-loaded version of the Pebble app, and this is the last version that was available at the Google Play Store before it was taken off for being too old. Load it up, give it all the permissions. I'm going to search for original Pebble. And it successfully found it. 96B7 for this watch. I'm going to click to connect. But it seems to have an issue connecting to it, so I'm going to try again. It took another try, but it started the pairing process this time. Now I get the screen to update the Pebble, which is a good sign. Just read through the acknowledgments and it's going to ask you to connect the charger. And the update process has started. I'm going to fast forward this section. You might have to keep your screen on to make sure it works properly. It looks like it's successfully updated. Let's hit continue. Before I go any further, I'm going to check to see the version that this has been upgraded to. And the old Pebble app only updated it to version 3.12.3. But now it should allow me to connect to the official new Pebble app and do another update. But first I'm going to remove all the Bluetooth connections on the watch and also clear the memory on the Motorola phone so there's no Bluetooth conflicts. You may see that there's constant pairing requests because the phone is still trying to connect to the watch. Just ignore it on the watch. I cleared storage on the app and double checked the Bluetooth connections, make sure there's nothing there. Now here's my other Android with the latest official Pebble app. I'm going to try the search again, and remember we left it at Bluetooth Classic from the last time. And now I found it right away. I'm going to go through the pairing process. And it seems to require multiple responses to pair it. It seems to have connected, but now it disconnected and is connecting again. And it's trying to go through the pairing process again. It seems like it's stuck in the connecting stage, so I'm going to stop it and reconnect it again. Seems to have finally worked. Now it's asking me to log into my Pebble account to continue. I'm going to go ahead and do so. If it asks you to stay in your browser or open the external app because that opens the official Pebble app. Back on the Pebble app, it's going to automatically check for updates. Or you can just click check for updates, but it found an update on its own, and now let's go through the update process. And it started. Now I'm going to fast forward this section. Remember, you might have to tap the screen to keep it awake. Now it's finally done, and it shows on the phone app itself is version 3.13.3, which is the latest one. Here's the side-by-side comparison with my updated Pebble, and you can see both firmwares are the same. I'm going to go into the watch faces and update it. And you see it works fine now. So if you don't have any experience with the Pebble brand or the functionality of its watches, you may want to try to revive an old one, as it is much cheaper than trying to order a new one, which are over $200. Just make sure that the version you're getting has a removable back so it's easily repairable. I can't say how long the old Pebble app will still work to update the original firmware, but as of the recording of this video in early March of 2026, it was still connecting and updating the version 1.x firmware.